one thing that I would say is it's a badge of honor, right? It's a great validation for the country. It's a great validation of local languages as a space. And it's a great validation coming from arguably the best two tech companies on the planet. I think what I'd add there is huge congratulations to InMobi as well. We're well-wishers of the entire ecosystem and theirs, and very happy for them. I think what this does to this space is it's going to be very interesting. It's going to explode content. It's going to explode supply. It's going to explode creation and creators. It's going to explode music and different forms of creativity. And India has always been a hub for creation. I think the key is going to be how you sustain these business models. How do you ultimately build revenue and EBITDA and real world businesses, right? Rather than just flaky metrics on just MAUs and DAUs. I think that's going to be the acid test, right? In terms of companies that will succeed and survive and last, and that are truly built to last. We feel very proud of the early momentum that we've had on Dailyhunt, because as Virubhai said, all our tech is homegrown. Our advertising platform, our brand advertising platform, our performance advertising platform, all serving Bharat audiences, is built in-house. And we've been able to prove a monetization efficiency yielding to an EBITDA business, right? And we hope to explode that over the next couple of years, not only on Josh, but across a family of apps. And I think these learnings is what we would take to even take the company abroad. And we have ambitions of actually taking our products across the world into key markets which have very distinct local language characteristics. If you look at Middle East, if you look at Eastern Europe, if you look at Latin America, Southeast Asia, there are lots of relevancy around local content, local language audiences, and we have the AI and ML and tech and the algorithms already built out to understand that. So I think it's going to put, it's a great validation, as I said, for the country and for the space. But the winners that will be able to last this and ride this wave in the long term are those that can really build core businesses out of it versus just user reach and engagement.
Total raise investment of $145 million that we have raised from Google and our existing partner, Mithril Capital. So very happy with that. And it's a big validation for what Glance has achieved in a very short period of its existence in the last 18 to 19 months of what we have achieved in the form of completely changing the consumer experience of people, of consumers, of their mobile phones across India and across Southeast Asia. And as you know, what Glance does, it changes converts the lock screen into an AI-led content platform. And it's a very simple product, but it is a very engaging product, which today has over 115 million daily active users who are spending more than 25 minutes on the platform. So we're very excited with this new development, and also very kicked about the fact that we've been able to build a very engaging consumer platform, from India, and we're taking it global.
Right, so for users wondering what Glance does, essentially when you leave your phone in lock screen mode, most Android phones that Glance works with, whatever content comes up here is most probably powered by Glance. So as Naveen said, such a simple but powerful innovation, because you end up looking at your lock screen multiple times a day. But Naveen, I read a quote of yours a couple of months ago where you said you believe your business to consumer, your B2C business, will be valued at over $1 billion. So does this current round of funding then make Glance a unicorn, which will be significant? Because InMobi is India's first unicorn. The fact that Glance also is now a unicorn coming from the same stable would be a pretty significant achievement. So does this new round of funding make Glance a unicorn?
It's very hard to comment on these things, and so I would refrain from answering that question. But what I would say is that this is, the first time InMobi became a unicorn. It was a great moment for us, and this investment from Google and from Mithril is a very, very, very substantial moment for us, and we feel very kicked about that. But from a valuation point of view, it's hard to reveal anything, but we're very happy with the fact that we're getting associated with, getting further validation of Mithril coming into this round and of Google investing. It gives a great validation for the innovation that we have made. So we're very kicked about that.
So the newest investors, firm called Advent International, which is a large PE player out of New York and the Bay Area, but they also have a growth capital fund which invests in companies. So they were the primary investor this round, but we did have, doubling down in terms of your reference with both Tiger Global, which was a previous investor, and StartUpCentral Partners. Both of them were the last two investors. They also co-invested alongside Advent International.
Now you tell us, you're the newest unicorn, taken 10 years, and you entered into the coveted unicorn club. Would you say 2020 was your toughest year in the last 10 years?
Yeah, I definitely agree. It was, in fact, I was telling my employees just this morning, it was the best of times and the worst of times in 2020 because, COVID obviously impacted our whole industry in terms of shutdowns, and the recovery of our industry has come together fairly well, especially in the US and UK kind of markets largely. I think in India, it's still lagging in terms of the spa industry is only about 20-25%, whereas the salon industry is more closer to 80% recovery. So it has been challenging in that way, but it has also been the best of times because, just like in other industries, COVID has accelerated change in our behavior or adoption of technology. Like we all work from home and suddenly Zoom adoption took off because, which would have taken maybe 3 to 5 years for that kind of an adoption. So even in our industry, in the salon space, businesses were stuck using old school ways of, you collect money using a credit card, the front desk and all that stuff. And we have technology which basically enabled them to go completely contactless, Uber-like, you walk into a store, the stylist can say, I'm done with the service on their phone. The customer's phone gets charged, they pay a tip, they walk out. The whole transformation of the industry would possibly have taken a lot longer, but COVID kind of made people wake up and resonate with our messaging, which said, hey, not only should you have great sanitation and hygiene, but you should also invest in the IT technology. And so that really accelerated. But along with acceleration came a lot of work for our employees because we are, given the size of our company, the growth we saw was well over 100%. And, everyone had to scramble. And working from home was not an easy task for our employees to deliver that kind of productivity.
Yes, the dream was $1 billion, honestly. I think we just didn't know when it will happen, whether it will happen in 2 years or it will happen in 5 years. And as a country, as a used car industry, we've gone through a lot. If you just, turn your head back and reflect, we went through demonetization, we went through GST in India, we went through auto slowdown a couple of years ago as an industry. And then we, of course, all of us have gone and lived through Corona, right? So I think for us, $1 billion was always a dream. What we've just more recently realized, if you will, is that our dream was too small. We should have dreamt a lot more bigger and a lot more larger. So we are sort of, our next stop is sort of much, much larger than $1 billion. And we're thinking we can get there because India as a country still, is fairly underpenetrated. If you think about it, there's just 20 cars to every 1,000 people in India. If you look at a developed market like the US, we talk about 500 to 600 cars per 1,000 people. Even China and other developing nations are at 200 cars, per 1,000 people, and we sit as a measly 20 cars per 1,000 people, right? So the scope is immense. We are where perhaps China was 15 years ago, and look at where China is. They've grown 10 times in the last 15 years. In terms of used car market. And we firmly believe India is probably on the same trajectory, if not faster. So as you can imagine, at $1 billion, it feels like we're just starting now, and our dreams have suddenly got much, much bigger.
Let me give you three numbers and then you'll understand that these are secular changes which has happened. One, contactless card payment, which used to be about 2% at the start of the year, has now gone to almost 15, 17% in all of the card base. So what you can do is just tap your card and the transaction is done. It's an entirely safe transaction. So it's seen significant shift by almost 6x in this year itself. QR-based payments in total, UPI payments in total has now gone to about 2 billion a month. And when it comes to pay later and getting installment-based payments, that market has grown almost 100% year on year. What we have seen is footfalls are definitely down in the offline stores, but what we have seen is the percentage of people using digital payments has increased by almost 3 times from compared to the pre-COVID days. I don't think so. The Indian consumer is going to rush back to cash quite quickly in 2021, especially for purchases. So I think this is a secular change. Demonetization, as we all know, provided a fillip for digital payments. But I think COVID is making people extremely concerned in using cash, and hence digital payments is becoming the right choice. We are also getting to see a very interesting trend where small merchants who had been sitting on the fence, not sure if they want to have a POS terminal for doing digital payment acceptance, they have started to accept this in a big way. In the month of October alone, we digitized 25,000 stores all across the country. And we are seeing that trend continue in November and December.
I think it's more of a validation that we have from our investors. They see the platform that we have built, they see the products that we are building, they see how the Unacademy experience is for our educators and learners. And there is nothing, I would say, that drastically changed within these weeks. But of course, we are constantly investing in making our products better, making our platform better, making our experience, improving our experience for both our learners and as well as educators. So I think they see that investment happening, and that those investments have been long in the making. The products that we have currently, we've been working on those for a very long time. So to answer your question, I think it's not something, it's not an event per se that happened. It's just that the investors see that value, and which is why they are sort of ready to give us that valuation.